Dear devotees, once again you have invited me to deliver this talk in conjunction with the forthcoming Vesak celebration. This year you have invited me on behalf of YBM Vesak Celebration Committee. I remember I have given several talks for the last few years. Celebration of Vesak. I can remember 1950s, only Penang was the Vesak holiday that people enjoy as a religious day. But in other states, people had no chance at that time. That means Buddhists in Penang were more active from the very beginning. When I wanted to start the Buddhist Missionary Society in 1961, most of those founder members of the Buddhist Missionary Society were Penang people who were staying in Kuala Lumpur. So, Buddhism is established long ago in this island. So it is your duty to continue and maintain this noble heritage. In India, 2,500 years ago, there were very active religions, not only one religion. Buddhism was one of those religions. Hinduism, Jainism, Brahmanism were very active all over the country. But people have not chosen the other existing religions, but only accepted Buddhism. Now this is a very important point. The religion which was originated in India, why Chinese in China about 2,000 years ago accepted this religion? Why did they not chosen? They have not chosen Jainism, Hinduism, Brahmanism. The main reason is their religion, religious belief, religious practices, traditions were confined according to Indian way of life. The Buddha did not introduce a religion just for people to follow. By following the Indian traditions and Indian way of life. It is a universal message for the whole mankind, whole world. That is why people in China and Korea and Japan and Mongolia and Tibet and Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma and Vietnam, Cambodia and many other countries chosen only Buddhism. The reason is it is a universal message that can be practiced by any human beings in any part of the world. Today, Buddhism is a very popular religion in the West. There are no missionaries, no orphanages or old folks' homes or schools to introduce religion. Simply by reading some booklet or after listening to a religious talk, people come to know that this is the religion that they need. Because when scientific education opened their mind, they were not ready to accept religious dogmas, superstitious belief, age-old traditions as religious beliefs. Because they have learned how to analyze by using their scientific knowledge. There is a name for the Buddha, Vijjacharana Sampanno. Amongst those 9 virtues or characteristics of the Buddha, one of them is Vijjacharana Sampanna. One who has cultivated moral conduct and wisdom together. Why it is mentioned? You can study very carefully. Founders of any other religions in this world, or all those philosophers, great thinkers, scientists and rationalists, whether you can find these 2 qualities equally. If people are very wise, very intelligent, there are human weaknesses in them, either egoism or anger or jealousy or narrow-mindedness. Some sort of human weaknesses can find in many of them. If people are very kind and compassionate and all the good qualities that they maintain, then we can understand their character is poor. But some others are very fortunate to develop their character, behavior, but their knowledge, wisdom, understandings are limited. So these 2 equally we can find only in the Buddha. There is nobody in this world who can pinpoint any human weakness in the Buddha's character. On the other hand, there is nobody in this world who can say the Buddha cannot understand this. That is why equally he maintained wisdom and character, Vijjacharana. By realizing this, intellectuals all over the world appreciate, although they do not become Buddhists at once, they respect, they pay homage, they appreciate the Buddha and his teaching. So the Vesak is the day that we celebrate as a religious day. It is not a festival day for people to enjoy their life by drinking and dancing and slaughtering animals. This is a day for people to be more cultured, more civilized, more kind, more understanding, to maintain humane qualities, to maintain human dignity, to maintain purity in our life. There's a vast difference between all the other festivals, how they enjoy their life. To enjoy their life, they go back to their primitive stage. Why? When we were in primitive stage, we could not survive without slaughtering animals and also drinking. When all the others enjoy their festival, they start slaughtering and drinking. That's why I told you they go back to their primitive stage. But the Buddhists become more cultured, more civilized, more compassionate, more understanding when they are going to celebrate respectfully this holy day that is called Vesak. Now we can see the difference now. So the subject tonight that you have given me, I cannot remember what is the topic. Just now I mentioned, don't worry, be happy. Okay? Then there is nothing to talk. It is so simple. Don't worry, be happy. Is there anything to talk? This is the problems. Why do we want to say don't worry? Because the life and the world and the nature and the element, energies, all these things create enormous problems and troubles and disturbances and conflicts and calamities. This is called existence. Otherwise, no existence. When we analyze scientifically, we can understand. Things come into existence due to combinations of certain elements and energies and friction. If there is no friction, no existence. Now we do not know the friction physically, mentally, elemental and mental friction. And these frictions and clashes, calamities, disagreements, imbalance create mental problems, physical problems. Again, internal and external. So we are in between. It is impossible for any living being to exist in this world without facing these problems. So whatever method that we adopt to avoid, it doesn't work. It is impossible for us to stop all these problems because they are natural. When the sun is very hot, if you want to go out, can you stop the heat of the sun? You have no authority. It doesn't work. But you can avoid the heat by using an umbrella. This is the method for us to reduce many of those external disturbances that come to us by taking precaution. But internal problems we had to analyze, physically and mentally. When the Buddha says, life is nothing but full of suffering, we do not take this seriously because our minds are deluded, clouded, misled, and we are crazy for certain things. Therefore, we do not take these kind of things seriously. The nature of the human mind, the Buddha has explained. After gaining his enlightenment, he wanted to survey, to see the mentality of human beings. Earlier he never had that power in his mind. After gaining enlightenment, then he noticed their minds are not ready to digest, to receive, to understand what he realized. Then he thought, is there any meaning of telling these things to these people? Because they cannot understand. This is the nature of our mind. Now let us analyze a little bit. Our minds are completely covered, clouded with ignorance, illusions, hallucinations, imagination, craving, selfishness, anger, grudge, ill will, enmity, jealousy, intolerance, impatience. All these are the dark cloud that moving around the mind. Then the Buddha says, Andha bhuto ayam loko. Andha bhuta means blind. This world is blind. World means human being. They are blind. Why they are blind? Because they cannot see things properly. Darkness is there in the mind. When they look at an object, they see the things as they appear, not as they are. There's a vast difference. Then I can give a simple example. When rainbow appears, I remember when we were small children, our parents and elders told us, do you know what it is? This is the vessels dropped by the God to take water from here. Because they had experience, every time when they notice the rainbow, after some time there will be shower. This is the way how we have learned to see the world. That means we have no penetrative knowledge. We have no analytical knowledge. We create our own imagination. And many of those things were recorded in their holy books also, in religious book. People believe for thousands of years this earth is flat. Later, Galileo, who discovered this is not flat, this is round. Poor man had to die because of that, because religious authorities could not tolerate this. This is our way of understanding. That is why the Buddha wanted to gain enlightenment, to see the world, to understand people, to know the mind, for these purpose. Now we have no enlightenment. After gaining enlightenment, he used these 5 words. In Dhammacakka Sutta, Chakkhung udapadi, Jnanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vijja udapadi, Aloko udapadi. Udapadi means arose, appeared. These 5 things appeared in my mind that I never had before. Chakkhung, divine eyes. Just now I mentioned, divine eyes mean the vision that we penetrate through our mental consciousness, analyze and understand what it is, not as that appear. Vast difference. So he had that knowledge. See the world. He says, the world is nothing but concept. See, when he look at through his Buddha eyes, enlightenment, he has seen this world is nothing but concept. Vijñapti matra. What does it mean? All these names, introduction, explanation about those things that exist in this universe, given by us by observing and watching and thinking and creating imagination. The whole world is nothing but concept. Let us take one. We say man. Then analyze. First, the combinations of mind and matter. In the matter there are 4 elements. In the mind there are 4 mental faculties combined. Then the formation has taken place as a figure. Then we say this is man. Analyze this man. Introduce into 32 parts all the elements and the mind into 4 mental faculties. Separate. Then where is the man? No man there. Where is I? I is not there. That is why this is only concept. That name man is given by us. This word I also created by us. In reality, there is no man, there is no I, there is no you. All these are the combinations of elements, energies, mental faculties. Exist for a certain period by changing. After that, decaying. Then disintegrate, dissolve. After this dissolution, what will happen? Elements again turn into elements. But the mental energy with the ingredients in that mind proceeded. No one can stop it. Because there is energy. That energy is supported by two strong energies. Craving and karmic energy. Karmic energy push. Craving drag. Attachment support. This is the way how Buddha has analyzed this. Then proceed. That consciousness will be landed through the influence of that karmic energy. Karmic energy direct, guide. Either this way or that way or this way or that way. Then the formation take place. This is called existence. When you analyze philosophically, psychologically, doctrinally, this is the way the Buddha has introduced. This is religious language. Now let us use the scientific language. Albert Einstein, he says, when we analyze this whole world, in the end, we can notice only vibration. No world, no living beings, no matters, no elements, nothing, only vibration. See, he has come very closer to the Buddha, but he realized only that much. This is scientific analysis about the world. Charles Darwin discovered theory of evolution, but he has realized only one method. His discovery is one-way traffic. Buddhists can agree with his discovery but not complete it. He realized only the evolutions of elemental side by following the procedures. But he had no idea about the mental evolution. Then the Buddha says, element and the mind, both are going on evolving, changing. Then take different forms. Humans, animals, devas, spirit, ghost, this and that. Evolutions of elements and mental energy. Julius Huxley, a British scholar, he says, Buddhism starts where scientists ended their discoveries. That means Buddhism has gone beyond the science, what they have discovered. Here, this is more than enough for you to understand. Theory of evolutions and the Buddha's theory of evolution. Isaac Newton, when he was sitting under the apple tree, one apple dropped. Then he started to think, why this sun dropped instead of going upward? Earlier he might have seen thousands of fruits dropping, but he never thought seriously. That day he wanted to observe. Finally, he discovered there is something called gravity to pull the things. Before that, nobody knew that. Why? The fruit dropped down instead of going upward. And this gravity also remains only a certain stage. When you carry a huge stone, beyond that level, the space, we can drop that stone, it float like a piece of paper because no gravity there. So the appearance of the Buddha, through his enlightenment, explained the nature of existence of any forms of life or any world system. So he is called Loka Vidu, knower of the world. So it is due to lack of understanding, illusion, imagination, we create our worries. Our imagination, suspicion, create fear. Fear appears in our mind because of strong craving, attachment, selfishness. Then go on, no end. According to the Buddha, we are burning from 11 kinds of fire every minute, every day, burning physically and mentally. In fact, he said the whole world is burning. Agni Khandopam Sutra, the name of that discourse. Agni means fire. The whole world is burning. Yes, it is burning. Now what are the 11 kinds of fires that we burn physically and mentally? Ragocha, dosocha, mohocha, vyadhi, jaracha, maranang, picha, sokameva, parideva, dukkhang, picha, domanasang, upayasa, mekadasa, agima. 11 kinds of fire. These are the names in the Buddha's language. Raga, mostly sexual craving. Sexual urge can burn the whole body and the mind, both. Can go mad through the influence of sexual urge. It is fire. Can burn not only own life, everything. When they are mad, when they are intoxicated with lust, if there is no controlling power to train the mind, that sexual urge can burn everything. Is there anyone who can say no? Even animals. Next one. Dosa. Dosa in the Pali language meaning anger, hatred, ill will, grudge. There are many words. Anger is emotional. The anger flare up for good purpose also. It is emotional. Parents show their anger toward their children. The idea is to correct them. So we cannot take that kind of emotional anger into this group. Because the motivation, the purpose of that expression is to correct, not to harm. But we have dangerous, poisonous anger. That is called hatred. Then turn into grudge and ill will. This anger, this kind of anger can burn the whole world if there is no controlling power. Anger is so dangerous in our mind. It is like this. If you keep acid in a metal cup for a certain period, you can see that cup or the vessel is eaten by acid, make holes here and there. How dangerous it is. The anger, the grudge, the hatred, ill will that we keep in our mind damage our own mind. We do not know that. We harm our own mind by keeping that in our mind. Not only within this lifetime, hereafter, after our death also, if we die with that anger, it is impossible to be born as real human beings. That is why the Buddha says it is fire that can burn the whole life. We never realize, never think, never take seriously to understand the danger of evil forces that we are upholding in our mind. Then the next one, moha. Moha means illusions, ignorance. We have more ignorance than the other evil forces, more illusions than the other evil forces. We commit all sort of mistake because of that ignorance and illusion. Because the mind is coward. Mind cannot use sense of reasoning. It is coward. When the mind is influenced or attacked by our hatred or anger, at that time our mind is just like a boiling water pot. When the water is boiling, you go and peep whether you can see your shadow in the water, your face. Cannot, because water is boiling. When you have this strong anger in your mind, you cannot see things properly because the mind is boiling. You lose your sense of reasoning and understanding. You take hasty conclusion. You can become very cruel, very wicked, very dangerous because of that anger. Because no reasoning. But when we cool down, when we are normal, we realize what a great mistake we have done. Drunkard, through the influence of liquor, when no shame, no fear, no sense of reasoning, commit lot of bad things, immoral things. When that person come back to normal mind, regret, what a pity, I never knew that I have done this kind of bad. So our ignorance, we had to admit by reducing our egoism, because we think we are not ignorant. But I can say all of us, including me, we are ignorant. Why we are ignorant? Can you say why we are here in this world? Do you know why? Now, if you cannot understand, that means we are ignorant. Can you say why we are not happy with this life, with this world, although we have more than enough things? Do you know why? If you do not know, you are ignorant. Do you know how to get rid of all these problems and worries and unsatisfactoriness? If you do not know, then you are ignorant. Do you know what will happen to you after your death? If you do not know, you are ignorant. Now you are ready to accept, isn't it? You are ignorant, and including me. Otherwise you complain me that I told you are ignorant. This is the nature of our mind. If we worry, if we cry, because of this ignorance, because we do not try to understand things properly, the Buddha's mission is to open our mind to tell us. He says, there are two purposes for my coming to this world to become the Buddha. Only two things. To tell you why you suffer, and to tell you how to stop your suffering. Only these two things. What else do you need? Do you want Buddha to tell you how many miles far away this sun and moons were situated from this earth, and how big is this earth, how deep is the ocean? He said that enlightenment is not for this kind of, to dig out the rubbish. To tell you why you are suffering here. If you don't like to suffer, then I can tell you how to get rid of this. That is why religion is needed, my dear friends. Without this, whatever knowledge we gain, we can study all the existing religion, philosophy, psychology, science and everything under the sun and the moon. People have landed on the moon. Did they discover anything to stop our suffering? That is why the Buddha was not interested in worldly knowledge, those speculative ideas. Only these two things. Whole day and night we are struggling to avoid, to keep away from suffering. That is what we are doing. Eating, sleeping, taking exercise, taking medicines, taking precautions and protection. For what purpose? To avoid, to escape. That is what we are doing. So every minute we are trying to stop our death. That is called living. At any time we are ready to die. So we take precaution, we do everything to stop this. If you forget to breathe for a few minutes, see what will happen to you. It is so tender, the life. So by force, we are holding, but suffering. Every day, grumble, accuse, blame, criticize, curse, with sour face, long face. Why? Why we are like this? Because of lack of understanding. Now we are here to learn something, to know something, to practice something, to avoid this unnecessary worries, suspicion, insecurity feeling, fear that we maintain throughout our life. Unhappiness, unsatisfactory. Whatever we gain, later we cannot satisfy with that. Then we want something else. That is called unsatisfactoriness. It remains throughout our life. No complete satisfaction. Today you can say you are satisfied. After a few days or few years, you say, oh, I cannot satisfy with this. This is the nature of our existence. So ignorance is a fire which paved the way, encourage us to burn everything. Then the next one is vyadi, sicknesses. We are scared of sicknesses. We worry about sicknesses. We get shocked when we come to know, oh, we are having this sickness or that sickness, when doctors diagnose and tell us. But earlier, we have never thought that this physical body is subjected to any kinds of sicknesses. There are 5 points the Buddha has introduced for us to contemplate as meditation. That is real meditation. The meditation that many people practice today, just to calm the mind for a short period, when they go back, there is nothing. Example. Now you want to cover a green grass from a big basin. Keep for a few weeks. After a few weeks, when you open the basin, you can see the green color turn into white color. The time that you spend for your meditation is to tame the mind, to change the mind only during that period. Exactly like this grass. After 1 or 2 weeks, again you can see the grass turn into green color. That means all the rubbish again come and occupy the mind. Another example. Assume there is a pond. The water is very pure, but covered with dry leaves. And you want to take a bucket of water. You go there and shake. And then all the dry leaves separate. There you can see clear water. You take one bucket. And after that, slowly all the rubbish again come and close the water. So the mind that we use for this meditation won't last long, short period, because we have so many rubbish around the mind. They come and occupy again. But these 5 methods introduced by the Buddha is not that type of meditation. Throughout our life, the more we develop, the more we gain confidence, understanding to get rid of worries and fear and disturbances. From our childhood, we have to start this. Vyādi dhammomi vyāding anatītoti abhinnang paccavekkitamma. We had to think. We have not gone beyond the sicknesses. That means we are not free from sicknesses. At any time, any kind of sicknesses can appear. Because virus, germs, bacteria exist in this body. At the same time, we have friendly bacteria as antibodies, and they fight with those bacteria and germs and virus and do not allow to create sickness. When the antibodies, friendly bacteria weaken, then sicknesses flare. It is natural. The elements in our body, the formations is like that. So we are not free from sicknesses. The Buddha had to suffer from 12 kinds of sicknesses because the Buddha's body is not holy. The Buddha's body is not enlightened, only the mind. Buddhahood is not in the body, it is in the mind. Sicknesses never consider whether this is a religious man or whether this is a king, makes no difference. Elements are the same. When we meditate on this, then when sicknesses appear, we do not worry, we do not cry, we never get a shock, we know how to face calmly, without worrying. through that understanding. Because mind is used to it. We train the mind to face this. Jara dhammo mi jarang anatito ti abhinnang paccavekkhita. When we are young, we have to think. We have not gone beyond old age, decay. Step by step, gradually, slowly, we are marching, approaching towards the old age. It is natural. It is maturity. No one can stop this. God or the Buddha or anybody in this world. So old age decaying is natural. Then we, through this meditation, we train the mind. When we grow old, that we don't worry. When you saw grey hairs or hair dropping or teeth are shaking or the complexion is changing, wrinkles appear here and there, you go to mirror and say, what a pity, now so it is like this. Such ideas never appear if you train our mind earlier. When the Buddha